uh, we look into a few basic things in module one which are needed and which are helpful for us. Yes, anyhow, to start with the introduction of computer graphics, we know that it is the objective are with software, hardware, and applications. And prerequisites is nothing but what we need to know before we start with the syllabus. The first thing is we should know about what do we mean by graphics and what are the libraries which are included, which are needed for the graphics. And we need to understand how what are the major three things which are needed uh, for an image, right? Graphics is nothing but a picture, right? Basic thing is a picture. In order to see a picture, what are the three things which we need? One is we need light, right? We need some color and we need some perception. Meaning we need some, there should be some light which is falling on the object, and we need to know what type of color, of what light color is. And the other thing is in what perception. Are we looking in the front view or the side view or the top view or the bottom view? That will be the perception. So first thing is uh, how the images will be formed. Images are basically formed by using the light when we have the object, and we need a some view. Here there are many viewing machines or the systems. One is cameras, microscopes, telescopes, and human visual system. So cameras actually capture the images. Microscopes are used to see the small um, objects. Telescopes are which are we can see the objects which are very far from us. And yeah, the other thing is in the nature we have a human visual system which can actually see and get the image, and image will be captured on the retina. So this is how the images will be. The first basic thing is we need the object. There is an object. This is an object, and we have the viewer. Your viewer is the camera, and the light source is sun, and sunlight is the source. So these are the three things which are needed. Apart from that, we also need to see what camera orientation is. The camera is in the front of the object, right? So there is an image, there's a light, and there is a viewer. So these are the three things which are needed for the image formation. Right? So these are the basic attributes. And when we come to the material of the scenes, we have much more attributes which can be discussed later, right? So next comes yes. So this is one of the important question in the exam. Uh, they may ask one question: what are the applications of computer graphics? So there are multiple uses when it comes to the computer graphics application. One basic thing is the simulation. We all have played multiple games. We all have played multiple um scenario related truck simulation, train simulation, car simulation, bike simulation, ship simulation, and we also have multiple interfaces where we can use it for entertainment, right? So we look into one after the other. So important question, the examination point of view from module one. So applications of computer graphics. The first one is for the entertainment. So today the generation is taking graphics to an extent where they are also generating the images artificially, which are synthesized and without any natural scenes which are taken, right? So the first thing is the entertainment, using it for the animation and game present. The major use is in the creation, manipulation of the pictures with the aid of a computer. Any recent animated movie you take, everything is computer generated. Today, people speak about multiple anime, some Ghibli movies. So everything comes under the entertainment here. So the major thing is animation and gaming when it comes to the entertainment. So the second thing is user interface. We all use our computers, laptops, and personal computers with digital assistants. We also have. our cell phones, right? We have our tabs, iPads, you name it, right? Any digital devices nowadays has a user interface, shortly called as UI. So we easily can move. See, this laptop is having a UI, and I'm running this particular presentation, and this is the use of graphics. Without the use of graphics, this was not possible. So this is the second important. The third one is display of information in industry and business, creating the 2D and 3D graphics. Very important. We can generate two-dimension, three-dimension imaging using the graphics. So what is this 2D imaging? Whatever the models which we can draw in the 2D plane comes under the generation of 2D objects. 3D graphics is we have some CAD and CAM, Solid Edge, right? We also have some major applications from Google where we can generate the architectures, right? For the 3D models, we can generate the tools, we can generate the buildings, right? We can generate any sort of buildings or how the layout looks like in two-dimension as well as in the three-dimension. Next comes in the major use of our CAD and CAM. So that comes in the designing part. So that's the fourth one. So yeah, these are the applications where you can explain it pretty simple and easier if possible. Always have a diagrammatic way for the representation of application of computer graphics. So the first one is simulation, user interface, display, and designing. So next comes the interactive graphics system. So this is a model how a graphic system actually works. So we have our personal computer over here. This personal computer will have a system, something called as graphics system, right? So today, most of our machines are equipped with the graphics system because in something called as GPUs, right? We can call it as a GPU. So what is GPU? Graphics processing unit, right? It's a separate unit where a dedicated processor is used only for the development of imaging, right? So in that graphics system, what is that majorly which we have? We have the graphics library and we have an application running on it and we have the model. So this application model is what using the application of graphics. It also using the graphics library and it is using the processor of its own and it's getting communicated with the computer. So this is an interactive graphics system where the explanation goes very simple. So most of our graphic applications are written in OpenGL, right? So for the syllabus we look into is the OpenGL. OpenGL stands for, sorry, GL stands for Graphics Library. Open Graphics Library, which is uh, open source software where you can get the applications as well as the libraries for free, right? And if you want, you can also generate your own libraries and you can use it. So we have the graphics system. Inside the graphics system, we have the graphics library. This is same as that of C computers, C compilers, okay? So where we have a IDE of C programming, and in the C programming, we have the compiler of C, and we also have the C library, right? So C library similar to that. So we also have the graphics library, which takes care about the how we print the images. So this is the interactive graphics system. This is also an important concept and an important question when it comes to the examination point. So interactive graphics system. So look into the block diagram. We have the normal machine. We have the system, meaning we have the GPU over here, and we also have the supporting graphics library. We also have the application and application model, which are interacting with the processor, the dedicated processor for the graphics, and these interact with our central processing unit, and we can make our machine generate the images. Next comes the concept of the light.
Sir,
Yeah,
ಅದು ಪ್ರಿವಿಯಸ್ ಇದು ಒಂಚೂರು ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸತಿ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ?
This diagram?
Yeah, this diagram. Just a minute.
Huh.
These arrow marks matter, sir. These arrow marks.
These arrow marks are nothing but the flow of data. The flow of data.
Just a minute, I will note it down.
Don't worry. This particular thing is readily available and it is getting recorded. Don't worry about that.
Okay, sir.
For your further use, it will be available, and I will share you the place where exactly you can use it, and I'll share it. Don't worry. Shall I move on?
Sir.
Okay.
Yes,
and
sir,
relative notes also I'll share with you. Nothing to worry. Go with the flow. If you have any doubts, stop me there and clear it up. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So moving on, this is the light, and we know that light is ranging from 700 nanometer to 400 nanometer, where on the higher side we have the red color, and on the 400 nanometer we have the violet, right? So this is the violet and this is red. All our colors fall from red to violet, that is from 700 nanometer to 400 nanometer. We have the highest wavelength for the red color, which is 700 nanometer, and the least wavelength for the violet. So we have red initially, then comes the orange, yellow, green, indigo, blue, and violet. Okay. So when it comes to the frequency as well as with the wavelength, red has the highest frequency, and so light is a part of, as we all know, electromagnetic spectrum that causes the reaction in our visual system. Anything which is falling outside this particular 700 nanometer and outside this 400 nanometer, we cannot see. So this is the visible light region. The visible light region is from 700 nanometer to 700 nanometer to 400 nanometer. It actually varies nanometer of 50, it can start from 350 to 750 nanometer as well. So the longer wavelength appears as red and the shorter wavelength appears as blue. Next is about the energy distribution. So not needed much to look into, but the information is just for understanding. So red is having on the larger end, violet is having on the smaller end, right? So the basic concepts of wavelength and frequency, anyhow, we have it in the physics. So next comes the luminance and color images. So what do you mean by luminance? Luminance is the color which can be seen, right? So the luminance in the image, the luminance can be monochromatic, meaning only one color, either black or red or white, right? So if there is absence of color, meaning it is black. If there is a color, then it is white, only in the monochromatic, meaning the colors will only move from black to white, meaning they only vary with the gray levels. Black in the white, right? We have some grayscaling, right? So from white to black, we have different variations of gray. So analogous to working with black and white film or television, the older black and white television or the black and white images, we can observe this. So the concept of monochromatic or monochromatism. So color images have the attributes of three things. One is hue, saturation, and lightness. So you may look into any imaging nowadays where we have taken any of the video. There will be some variations with the view. There is some variations with the saturation, and there is some variation with the lightness, right? So the next question is, how does the image formed on the eye? So we go for three color theory. This is also an important question for module 1, where the question can be in this way. Explain how the image can be formed on the retina or on the eye. The human visual system has many sensors. The sensors are called as rods and cones. So there are two types of two types of sensors. One is rods and the other one is cones, right? Rods are the particular cells which work in the night when there is no light. Cones are some sensors which can detect the light color, right? Meaning this works in the morning, in the daylight. So roads are monochromatic, meaning they in the night you can only see white or black. So that's why we consider something called as night vision. So monochromatic is mono means one, chromatic means color, monochromatic one color. So night vision most of the time in the dark when we see under the moonlight we only see the variations of white to black. So cones are nothing but these are the cells which are available in the morning when we in the morning where we have the light. So cones are color sensitive. There are three types of cones, not to discuss now because we are not learning the biology, but the thing is how the image will be formed. So cones are color sensitive, and when we look into the diagram of an eye, so this is the diagram of an eye. The first thing is we have the cornea, that is the outer layer of the eye, and we have the iris, which is varying, right? Which can be pulled and which can be pushed, so that how much light can be entering into the lens, right? So iris will be varying with the we have a small muscle which actually varies the the light intensity, how much it has to enter and how much it has to enter and how much it has to send out back, right? Our main intention is we have a lens. The light from the external object, from the light source which falls on the object will get reflected back to the eye, and these rays of light
Hello,
which enter the yes.
sir. This question, what would it be asked like?
So the question will be explain the image formation on the eye.
So, however, it is shown here. If we explain like this in deep and drawing an eye
In
diagram will be sufficient, right?
understand, yes. You need to draw this. This is a very simple eye diagram which you can see.
Okay, sir.
You have to draw this at least roughly. You have to write. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So when the light falls on the object here, the reflection of the light rays will fall on the eye, and it passes through the cornea. It passes through the lens, and it falls on the retina. The image will be in reverse when it falls to the retina, and the information which is falling on the retina will be sent to the brain using the optic nerve. So this optic nerve is like the transporting system which actually sends the information which is falling on the retina to your brain, and the brain will imagine. So what the image what exactly is the object which is actually present. So it is very important for you to write down these things. So cornea is the outer layer, iris is the muscle which actually varies the light which can enter to the lens. The lens will actually uh, make the image form on the retina. Retina is your back of your eye, and in the back of the retina we have rods and cones. Rods are activated when it comes to in the darker region, that is in the night. Cones get activated in the morning region, that is it can generate the colors, and the image which falls on the retina will be passed to the your brain for further processing using the optic nerve. This, if you explain, is more than enough with the diagram, with a systematic explanation for the image formation on the eye. So next comes the additive and the subtractive colors. So we have the primary colors and the secondary colors. So the primary colors is called as the additive, meaning what exactly we get if I have the primary colors, which is red, green, and blue, right? So by the multiple combinations of red, green, and blue, we get multiple other colors, right? So initially, we have to generate a mesh system which can generate red, green, and blue lights. By mixing and varying the composition of red, green, and blue, we get the other colors, right? So the color, the primary colors are red, green, and blue, and the subtractive colors, meaning what happens if we subtract one color by another color? So we get the cyan. This color is called as cyan. This color is called as magenta, and this color is called as yellow, right? So CMYRGB. So in short form, we actually use in this way. So the three primary colors, these RGB are the colors which we actually see on any screen. By varying those colors, we actually go for another colors, which is cyan, magenta, and yellow. And adding all the colors, we actually get the white color. When there is absent of red, green, and blue, we get the black color. So as you can see here, we have one, color 1, color 2, color 3, color 4, color 5, color 6, color 7 is white, and when there is no color at all, then it is black color. So RGB, CMY are the particular colors which we actually use. Most of your printers will actually use the CMY, and because it is having multiple uses. Why? Because if we add if we mix some of the colors, we actually can get multiple variations of different colors, which is another subject actually. So additive colors is if we add green and blue, sorry, green and red, we get yellow. If we add green and blue, we get cyan. If we add blue and red, we get magenta. And if we add all the colors, we get white. If we don't add any of the colors, we get black. Simple. So this is the concept of additive and subtractive colors. Next comes the important problem of generating a color cube. So um, this is where this is also one of the question which you can expect. Why? Because this is a lab program. So RGB color cube, a cube which is having 8 sides. Sorry, 6 sides with 8 vertices, right? So as you can see in the cube over here, I have, this is the first edge, this is the second edge, this is the third edge, and this is the fourth. Similarly, we also have the fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth, right? So these are the sides, these are the vertices, right? So vertices are nothing but where the points actually meet, right? So RGB color module is very simple. So here, as you can see here, in this color palette, I have a red color here, a green color here, and a blue color here. So red with green, I told you we get yellow, right? Red with green, we get yellow. Green with blue, we get cyan. Blue with red, we get magenta. Combinations of red, green, and blue, we get white color. On the other side of this particular vertices, we have no color, that is black. Okay. So, and we can see all the visible colors over here. This is called as RGB color cube. Okay. So this end, as you can see, this is white, meaning I have all the colors mixed, that is red, green, and blue. All the three colors have been mixed here. When you mix all the three colors, you get white color. On the other hand, as you can see here, it is red, right? So that is why the first value is 1, and the second value is 0, and third value is 0. The first value is 1. Why? Because red alone you can see. So that is why you can see the red color over here. And here red plus green, R and G are highlighted. So here we get the yellow, and on the other side we have the green here, that is 0, 1, 0. And on the top we have cyan. I told you that green and blue will give me the cyan color. So 0 components of red, cyan, G is 1, blue is 1. So I'm getting the color cyan. On the other side, we have the blue color, that is 0, 0, 1, right? So as you can see in the white color, all are 1, okay? So on the other side, all the values are 0. So the black color will be there. In this particular three-dimension image, you're not able to see the black color, but it is there on the other side. So RGB used in monitors and other light emitting devices uses this color cube model, right? So some encoding will actually be used, but yeah, we are not interested in that, but we are interested in the RGB. So this is the explanation of RGB color cube. If there is a question which has been asked, this color cube is not needed, this is needed. Only thing is use the red adjacently. Adjacent to this red will not have any primary color. See, red illi de andre you have on the other side green and on the other side blue, right? So if you mix the red and blue, you get magenta, which is 101. Red and green, you get yellow, 110. And green and blue, we have cyan, which is 011. Mixing of all the colors, we have 0 here. Mixing of all the colors, that is 111. And no colors at all, we have 0. So this is the color cube. So next comes the subtractive color. I told you that in the particular additive colors, what happens if I add one color with another color? So these yellow, cyan, and magenta are the additive colors. Similarly, we have the subtractive colors. So what is that subtractive colors? Form a color by filtering the white light with cyan, magenta, and yellow filters, right? So these are the negative colors actually, meaning from the existing color, if you take the cyan, what we get it, right? So this is the ulta, whatever we see. This is the reverse way of additive colors, meaning, so if I add cyan and magenta, I get blue. If I add magenta and yellow, I get red. If I add cyan and yellow, I get blue. If I add all the colors, then I get black. Okay. Add all the colors, meaning which are the other colors? Cyan, magenta, and yellow. If I add, I get the black colors. So most of the printers which are drawing the images on the white paper will use this subtractive colors. That's why any of the color printer will be adding these colors only. Which are those? Cyan, magenta, and yellow. So by using this, we are doing the reverse of additive colors. That is the subtractive colors. So the subtractive colors, color cube looks in this way. So we have CMY, which are on the other end. Adding those things, we get the reverse color of it. That is R, G, and P. So describes the hard copy color. The output, we see colors of reflected light. We actually see the cyan ink absorbs the red light and reflects the green and blue. To make blue, use cyan ink to absorb the red and magenta ink to absorb the green. So this is the negative or the subtractive color model of CMY. CMY stands for cyan, magenta, and yellow. I also told you that we have something called as hue, saturation, and brightness. So also called as HSV. So hue is the actual color. Right? So hue, whatever you see on the outer part, this is the actual color, right? So variations of VIBGYOR, that is from red to violet, right? So saturation refers to it is the purity, meaning more red or yeah.
this question you after like what kind of question is HSP?
ಏನಪ್ಪ
HSP ಅಂತ ಇದೆ ಈಗ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ
ಹಾ
ಇದನ್ನ ಏನಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ?
ಹ್ಯೂ ಸ್ಯಾಚುರೇಷನ್ ಬ್ರೈಟ್ನೆಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲನೇಷನ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ.
ಹೌದು, ಇದು ಕಂಡಿದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ
Explain the concepts of hue or define hue, saturation and brightness. 5-7 marks ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು.
ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು.
ಎಸ್ ಸೆಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೇಳಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈ 3 ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ 3 ಸೇರಿಸಿ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. 5 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಅಥವಾ 7 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ತನಕ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್.
Okay, so very simple. Hue is nothing but different colors or the actual colors. Saturation is the purity, meaning how much pure the color is. Illi you can see the violet color, and the violet is dark over here, and when we go towards the bottom it becomes more darker. Right here light blue ide, hogta we get the darker blue, and ultimately we meet it as a black. So that's the purity. So saturation is nothing but the purity. Hue is nothing but the colors, the actual colors. Brightness comes in such a way that it is measured in percentage from black to white. Black to white, how much bright it is. Light color irbodu or dark color irbodu. When you increase the brightness, it goes towards the white. When you decrease the brightness, the color goes towards the black. So brightness is measured in percentage from black to white. At 0% brightness, both hue and saturation are meaningless, meaning it is white. Okay. Yeah, from 0 meaning black to 100, which is white. At 0% meanings, brightness will be 0. That is black. So next comes the concept of ray tracing. Ray tracing is a concept where what happens to the ray of light when it falls on the object. So when we look into the concept of ray, there are many sources of light. We have bulb, we have tube light, we have spotlight, we have sunlight, we have different types of light sources, right? So what do you mean by sunlight? A sunlight is having a particular ray which is falling or which is spreaded over the place, right? So we have multiple rays of light which are falling. So what is a ray? Ray is actually a straight light line, right, which is falling on an object. So here I see this light source is generating multiple rays of light, meaning from A, B, C, D, E, F. Can you see? So we have multiple rays of light. So how the object behaves when a ray of light falls on them? For example, if it is a cylinder, the ray D, when it falls on the cylinder, the ray gets scattered in many directions because it is not a flat surface, it is a curved surface. And when the ray of light falls on the curved surface, it gets diffuses, meaning it gets spreaded, scattered across the plane, right? So we see multiple rays over here. That's why when a ray of light is falling on any cylindrical shaped image object, we actually see a white bright color, which is shining color. So when we see a ray of light, for example, C is falling on a square, it gets reflected. When it falls on a particular sphere, it may reflect at one particular place also, right? So rays actually which falls on the object may go towards any other place. This is called as ray tracing. Where exactly it is going, it's called as a ray tracing. So one way to form an image is to follow the ray of light from the point source, finding which ray enters the lens of the camera. However, each ray of light may have multiple interactions with the object before being absorbed or going to infinity. Before being absorbed, in the sense, some ray of light will be absorbed by the object, some rays of light will get reflected back, some rays of light just go forever to the infinity. right? So this is the concept of ray tracing. Much more when you look into the theoretical part, you can easily understand. So next is about the global versus the local uh, lighting. So cannot compute the colors or shade of each object independently. Some objects are blocked from the light because there are some objects where the light gets absorbed, the light gets reflected, and the light passes through it. So there are different types of objects. We call it as transparent, translucent, and reflective, right? So cannot compute the colors without knowing the object. Some objects may block. This is nothing but the opaque image or opaque object. Lights can reflect from one object to another. Some objects might be translucent. That means the light ray can pass through it. For example, a glass, where a light ray can actually pass through the glass, right? So this is about the global and the local lightning. So we'll stop at this point.